Hi, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday, which sour cream day. It's almost Saturday. I can speak English, and that means it's time for a vlog. So this week, the 7.0 PTR is officially up and actually working. This is the PTR for the pre-patch that we're expecting in somewhere between 3 and 5 weeks. My money, not actual money, but my virtual money is still on the July the 19th launch date for this patch that's on the PTR, but we'll see. There's no announced date yet, and they've confirmed that they don't know exactly the date. So that'll depend on how things go on the PTR, but this is testing the systems changes, which means all of the class changes, new talents, new abilities, removed abilities, all of that, and then like the new systems like the transmog wardrobe, I think is the biggest thing that we're getting in this, and that's going to be somewhere in the 3 to 5 week mark, like I said. So that's on the PTR now, and the PTR is actually working, and that is available to everybody. So even if you're not in the beta right now, you can go and download the PTR, and I would do so when you have some time to do it, because it's a fairly hefty download, and it takes a little bit of time. And you can go and either copy your live characters or create a test character. The character copy does work. You might need to try it a couple times if it's not working right away for you, but I have confirmed you can eventually get it to work. And you can then, at that point, try out the different classes to see what you want to play. So if anybody's still on the fence about what they want to play in Legion because they don't know how the class changes are going to feel, that's the best way to figure it out, because class changes, like the big mechanical overarching ones, are for the most part done. What they're mostly focusing on right now at this point is tuning. So if you don't like the feel of how something plays, independently of the numbers, of course, because numbers are going to be very different at 110 relative to 100, but if you don't like the feel of how something works, then you're probably not going to like it at 110. Artifact weapons, for the most part, enhance the existing gameplay you have at 100. They don't change it too much. There's a couple of exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, if you like how something plays in the PTR, you're probably going to like it in Legion. So now is the time to figure out what you want to main, figure out what you want your alts to be, figure out what priority you want to do things in, because it is going to be a time investment for alts. I know myself, I'm going to be doing my Shadow Priest for raiding, one Resto Druid for PvP, and I'm touching nothing else for the indefinite future because of how much of a time grind it's going to be to get artifact power on the ones that I actually want to play. So choose your alts wisely. But anyways, PTR is up. Character copy works for it, and then the other news was that character copy is now officially working on the actual Legion beta as well. I haven't tried copying a character because I didn't need to, but the account data works, and that's what's important to me, because that means that I can now officially test things on the Legion beta using all my battle pets from my live test, or from my live account. So I'm very excited about that. Unfortunately, a lot of the pet battles still aren't working. It's very intermittent. One day it'll go and it'll be working, and then the next day it won't be, and I always seem to catch them on the days that they aren't. But I have at least one guide up, and I'm working on more. But yeah, the moral of that story is go try out the PTR, but make sure you've got some time to download it, because it is a fairly hefty download. And then I'm really excited about account data. I was really worried because they took out the PTR pet vendor up until that point. Up until like a couple days ago, they had this pet vendor who was very specifically listed as PTR pet vendor, like he's just for the beta, and he sold stones to instantly level pets to 25 and also instantly upgrade them, so you can, catch a couple pets and then use them for testing. And I was very concerned when they took that guy out, because they took that guy out a day or two before they actually enabled character copy, and it was like, oh gosh, I hope I have enough pets to come up with some strats for this stuff, but now it doesn't matter, because I have all access to all my pets, so woohoo! What else is happening this week? Today is Friday, and starting this evening, officially broadcasted games on twitch.tv/Warcraft are starting for the Road to BlizzCon Arena Tournament. I am so excited to watch this. I love watching this every single year. They had open qualifiers this year, which we talked a little bit about last week, about the email they sent out to everybody. Apparently, qualifiers were open. Anybody who wanted to could get together a team and compete in the BlizzCon qualifiers, which I was a little skeptical of, because that just seems like it's making a huge amount of administrative work for the people organizing the tournament for a bunch of people that are absolutely going to get stomped on. Like your 1600 team, I'm very proud of them for having a dream, and it's very cool that you get to go and play. And I guess you should have that chance, but they're not going very far. And it, like, watching the GCD TV early round stream, it was a bit of a fiasco, because they kind of didn't realize how much work it was going to be to coordinate all of these people and all these teams that had no tournament experience, trying to harangue them into these war games. So that was pretty both funny and a little bit silly. But the games that are happening tonight are like the finals of that process. So we're going to be seeing some teams with names that we recognize, and I'm so excited to watch it. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that watching the tournament gets me kind of fired up to PvP again, because that always happens. Every single year I watch the tournament, I'm like, oh man, PvP is cool. I should spend more time doing that. And then I spend more time doing it, and eventually I get kind of out of it. Right now, I'm not really feeling the desire, and I think I might just kind of take it easy on PvP. Like, not quit or anything, but kind of take it easy on PvP until until Legion. I feel like at this point it's too late for a real glad push, and I haven't been working hard enough at it. I've been spending too much time both making videos, which is important, and then Overwatch, which is less important. And there's going to be such big changes in Legion that I feel like I'm just going to kind of take it easy, watch the tournament, have a great time, make some popcorn, and then try a little bit harder in the Legion seasons to come. So that's kind of where I'm at on PvP, but very excited to watch the games and cheer on all my favorite friends and the teams that I've cheered for in the past. And yeah, it's always a good time. They have also started doing a weekly Legion Dev Q&A, which is something that they did on live stream. I believe they had a developer and then Josh Allen kind of fielding questions that they had been submitted on Twitter. And it's really great to see this level of transparency from devs, especially at this point in expansion development. That's something the WoW team's been criticized a lot for, is they go through varying levels of sharing a lot and not sharing very much. We used to get those dev water cooler blog posts like every month, and I haven't seen one of those in a long time, but it's one of those things that it takes a lot of time to put together, and obviously their time is kind of trying to go towards developing the game, but it's really, like I said, it's really great to see this level of transparency, and hopefully the community is mature enough to see them discussing things like that and not take this we need to move towards an era in game development and as game communities where we can have open and honest conversations with developers and development teams about what's going on, so that we have more insight into the process without taking everything they say as law or as like a press release while they're in the middle of the process, because during development a lot of stuff does get cut or changed or adjusted or it didn't fit the vision. And that's okay, and we're never going to get any early previews or any idea of what they're doing if we can't read things like this and watch things like this without taking the word as absolute law. So I'm really happy that they're doing it. We didn't get a whole lot of brand new information as far as stuff that actually came out from the Legion Dev Q&A. I know MMO Champion has a good summary on their webpage as to exactly what they talked about. One thing they did go into a lot of detail as towards was the expansion development timelines and patch release cycle. There's a lot of new info, or not new info, but they just kind of fleshed that out about how they want to move back. Basically what I got from this, maybe this is just kind of my heart doing the reading, but they're trying to move back to that Mists of Pandaria cycle of a longer expansion that's better paced to give players more time to enjoy the content that's there, so that they're not rushed in trying to create the following expansion. Like, they have a more accurate idea of how long it actually takes them to make an expansion, so that they can pace the content in the current expansion, so that we're not left with this year-long gap while they're trying to rush and get the next thing out, which we've been kind of in a cycle of for the last couple of years. So that's good to hear. And supposedly they're doing these Legion Dev Q&As every week for a while, so hopefully we get some new info. And of course, if any of you have any questions for Legion devs, I think you can tweet them. I'm sure you can find all that information on Twitter. So get your questions answered. Oh, and the one other thing that is news that I was excited to hear from that is that flying in Legion is going to be unlocked roughly in the middle of Legion. So there will be more patches that come out after flying is unlocked, but it will not be within the first patch, and it may not be within the second one. So we don't know exactly when, but it's going to be somewhere in the middle, but not on the final patch. And I'm okay with that. I definitely like being grounded for the leveling experience, because I do think that flying really trivializes that. And I want there to be enough time to really do the experience in a couple of different characters while grounded without feeling like I'm missing out. And, get some use out of my ground mounts before we are able to fly. But I also want a good amount of time at the end of the expansion, and like the middle to end of expansion, to both do content while flying, do gathering while flying, and really get into the archaeology pet battles, like the parts of the game that are so much more convenient while flying that you almost don't want to do them while you're grounded. I'm a little bit concerned that I'm not going to be super hyped to do any archaeology until we get the flying patch, just because of how much better it is to do archaeology while you can fly. Same thing with pet battles that are in the world. I think I'm going to be doing them for the world quest, of course, and to get pet charms in order to re-max out my pet collection by leveling and upgrading all the pets that you get in Legion. But outside of that, I can't see myself doing a whole lot of running around on the ground to try and get to stuff like that, especially when there's going to be stuff to do like farming artifact power and practicing PvP and the dungeons and raids, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be raiding again. It's been a while, and I definitely burnt out a little bit on Hellfire Citadel, but I had such a good time throughout Warlords with my guild, and I'm really excited to experience Legion in a way that so I think it's pretty fair to say that the last Warlords was a little bit gimped. Like, it had some good content, but it also had a lot of big holes, and it wasn't very long. It was essentially a 2-patch expansion. There was a launch patch. We don't talk about 6.1, and then 6.2 had Hellfire Citadel, so it was basically 2 tiers of raiding, and that was about it. And Warlords was the first expansion for me that I really got to do, not everything, but what felt like everything. I did raiding to the best of I did scheduled raiding, 2 nights a week. We cleared through the end of Heroic and all the different raids. So I took that semi-seriously. I did semi-serious PvP. I did all the pet collecting stuff I wanted to do. I did a lot of the achievement stuff and profession stuff I wanted to do. And I leveled a bunch of alts. So I feel like in Warlords, I really experienced almost everything that the expansion had to offer. The only thing I didn't really get into was challenge modes, which isn't really my jam, but that's okay. You can't do everything. But, and that was the first expansion that I did that, and I feel like that was kind of I feel a little bit cheated that was my first experience with doing everything. So I'm really excited that if Legion is a Mists of Pandaria style expansion with really meaty content patches, lots of stuff to do, really great raids, if they actually get the PvP system working where there's some participation, I think it's going to be a really cool thing to take part of. And I'm very excited that I'm in a position to take part of so many parts of it, if that makes any sense. Because in MoP was a great expansion. It had lots to do, it had great PvP, it had great raids, it had lots to do in all different areas of the game. But I spent all of MoP leveling alts and doing some pet battles. I didn't raid, I didn't PvP. I'm not 100% sure what I did. I played through the whole thing, but who knows. So I'm really excited for Legion to experience kind of all of it. And then, yeah, that's about it. So questions that we had on the last vlog. Beercake390 asks, are you planning to play Shadow Priest PvP in Legion? So I don't want to definitively rule anything out. And I know in the past I've said that if I was going to branch out to more things other than just Resto Druid, Legion would be the place I would do it, because I wanted to spend really all of Warlords focusing on being the best Resto Druid I could be. And at this point, at the end of Warlords, I don't think I'm the best Resto Druid I can be yet, and I think I'm going to need a good amount more time. Like right now, the highest rating I got was like 2597. The highest rating that I'm comfortable playing at in a group of that's not super coordinated is like 2400, and I'm pretty comfy at 2500 with a good team. But that's not really, I don't feel confident enough on the class to feel like there's really nowhere to go for me on it. And to me, until I'm the best version of that class that I can be, I see in my mind putting time into a different spec in PvP to be kind of a waste of time. Like, I don't really see the point, and I know a lot of people enjoy this, but I personally don't see the point at being 2k on like 5 classes. I would rather be 2800 on one class and be really good at that one thing, or at least until I get to that point. Then I could start branching out, but I'm not there yet. And I don't know if I'm going to get there at least early Legion. It's going to take me a long time to figure out how everything's working with the new system changes. So I'm not going to say I will never play Shadow Priest in PvP, but I do think it's unlikely just because I need more time on Resto Druid, and then even if I master Resto Druid, honestly, any alts that I pick up would probably end up being other healers, because that's kind of the role that I've learned to fill on my teams. All of my friends are DPS, and healing and DPS is so different in Arena that I feel like that's an extra learning curve that I just kind of don't need. So I'm not going to say never, but I do think my Shadow Priesting is going to be mostly confined to the raiding half of Legion. And then Twitchy Dory asks, any plans to do a video on the new transmog system? That is a fantastic idea, and I'm kind of floored that I didn't think of it. I don't know why I didn't think of it. I can absolutely do that. I'll look into that for next week. I will add that to my list. So yeah, I didn't have plans, but I do now. That's a great idea. Very excited about the new transmog system. Like I've said, I think I'm up to like 8,400 transmog salvage crates. Not transmog crates. I call them transmog crates. They're salvage crates. They're going to have items in them that will be partially for transmog. I think a lot of them are going to get vendored, but I originally wanted to do a salvage crate opening marathon stream, and then as I started to do math on like cast time and how long it takes me to sort through a salvage crate that's been opened, and like say I open a salvage crate and I get some male pants in my priest, and the male pants are not something I've yet added to my collection. I then have to like open the crate, identify that those pants are both something that I need and something that I cannot learn in my priest, and then go to the mailbox and then mail them to somebody that can learn them for later, and then I can move on. And then maybe there's another thing that you need to do a vendor. Like, there's a lot of time on each individual crate, and I figure if I do a marathon stream, I might die. Indeed, if I try and marathon them at all, it might be just real bad. So I figure my new policy for opening salvage crates is going to be to do them when I feel like it, and when I no longer feel like doing them, I'll stop so I don't make myself hate everything, because that sounds kind of awful. But hopefully I get some cool rare stuff in there. I don't know. I really like transmog, and storage has been the one thing that's really prevented me from going really ham on it, because I really hate having full banks. I hate when I pick up a cool thing and I want to keep it, and I go to my bank and they're just filled with stuff. So I'm actually really looking forward to like the organization part of preparing for a new expansion. I love going through all of my bags and just deleting a bunch of stuff and being like, I don't need these trade mats. this crystal's no good. I don't need this item. I don't need this item. This item makes me run faster and drain where that can go. Like, stuff like that. I love clearing out stuff, and with the new transmog patch, I'm going to be able to clear out so much stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be so good. Anyway, that's been my week. If any of you have any questions you would like answered on a vlog, just leave them as a comment on the most recent vlog. Thank you guys so very, very much for watching and hanging out with me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!